Like my essay with the same title, this lecture on Cervantes' Don Quixote is titled "The Picaresque Conversion Narrative in Don Quixote, Criminal Reform." Basically, this talk is designed to answer two fundamental questions. What is picaresque fiction, and how does Don Quixote qualify as picaresque literature? I would argue that Don Quixote is, above all else, a novel about crime and criminal reform. I say this because the book focuses, in part, on the clever but dishonest adventures of two unprincipled rogues who assume all the beatings, suffer all the affronts, and undertake all the dangers so that we as readers can grow in honor and can avoid the hidden dangers that the story of their lives reveal. Now, typically picaresque stories feature a variety of casteless, amoral outsiders who feel inwardly unrestrained by society's prevailing mores and only appear to conform to them when they think it suits their needs. Populated by a gallery of rogues who live by their wit rather than by honest work, picaros lie, cheat, and steal to seize people's valuables through force or fraud. What moves them is a direct satisfaction of a desire, an urge, or a wish. They want something, they have to have it, so they grab it. Like their victim's wallet, for example, or their prey's throat, for instance. Picaros see no reason to obey the law or work for a living. Only weaklings follow the system's rules, only suckers get jobs. Though picaros are at war with society, they have a compassionate sense of their own moral entitlement, justifying their lives of crime as getting back what is owed to them. Two picaros appear in Don Quixote. One picaro is first, let me say that there's Rogue Guinard, who's a hardened career criminal who defines his choice in life as me versus them. Then there is Gines de Pesamonte, a protean shapeshifter who extracts money and property through sneak thievery and fraud. Regarding Captain Roque, he is presented in the novel as a real-life highwayman who operated in eastern Spain at the time. This is actually true because there was Roque Guinard, and he a real-life man, and he did operate in eastern Spain. Anyway, he's described as a man, quote, of 30 years of age, of larger than average build, with a stern look in his eyes, dark in complexion, riding a powerful war horse, wearing a steel mail coat of mail with 4 little carbines at his sides. Right away, his lethality as a killer is emphasized at the observational level. There seems to be a certain inflexible quality about Captain Roque, signaled by his stern looks, his hard eyes, and his intimidating presence. His explicit image as a gun-toting, horse-trampling death dealer shows readers that Captain Roque is not to be messed with. If you toy with him, you die. Evidently, some external force has molded Captain Roque, has shaped him, has made him into a man violently pitted against the world around him. Driven by revenge, Captain Roque is defiant to the end and refuses to give in to society's terms. Since the ruling purpose of Captain Roque's life is to inflict punishment on society, he ends up as the wounded part of the culture. Gines de Pesamonte, on the other hand, is a different type of picaro altogether. Rather than a man of violence like Captain Roque, he is a gypsy thief, a trickster extraordinaire, who stages elaborate confidence scams in order to steal people's money and jewels. Presented as a hard-drinking, picture-painting, quick-talking con man, he survives through fraud and deception. First, he dresses up as a wandering gypsy in order to avoid the Holy Brotherhood. Then he pretends to be a roving puppeteer named Master Pedro. Whatever disguise Gines de Pasamonte assumes, he matches his looks, his dress wear, his speech style, even his psychological makeup to suit the situation. This, in my view, is the typical modus operandi, or MO, of a confidence man. What we must now ask ourselves is, does Cervantes want his readers to take away from reading about Captain Roque and Gines de Pasamonte? With what view? With what understanding? What is the point of their characterization? What is its message? Now, getting into the Picaresque conversion narrative, Captain Roque and Juan Palamante, we can start to answer these questions by examining a former picaroon in Don Quixote named Juan Palamante. Like Captain Roque, Juan Palamante is also known to many law courts and tribunals in Spain. Like Captain Roque, he also resorted to murder and robbery to survive. But unlike Captain Roque, he is a respectable tavern owner in the story who gave up crime long ago. Now he makes an honest living by renting rooms and selling meals. I argue that Cervantes purposely juxtaposes the story of this reformed picaroon with the story of a repentant criminal in order to link the two and to suggest that Captain Roque, like Juan Palamante, can give up a life of crime if he really wants to. Though readers never see Captain Roque's complete transformation in the story in Don Quixote, his repentant self-analysis coupled with his hope to overcome his bloodlust suggests that he may change his ways in time, just like Juan Palamante did. More largely, the events of the story prove that Captain Roque, quote, is by nature a compassionate and well-intentioned sort of a man, but the desire to avenge himself for an affront he received overturns all his better impulses, end quote. This is why he persists in a life of crime even though he knows he shouldn't. But he has not lost all hope of emerging from the labyrinth of his confusion one day. Though he laughs at Don Quixote's advice that, quote, the beginning of good health lies in identifying the disease, he is tempted by our knight's offer to teach him to be a knight-errant just like him. He even contemplates whether righting wrongs, correcting injustices, and punishing treachery will earn him salvation in the realm of human affairs. So he's not irredeemable. After Don Quixote's little pep talk, Captain Roque gives his robbery victims some of their money back. He even gives Sancho Panza and an anonymous pilgrim 10 escudos each to ease their suffering. Gines de Pasamonte's role in Don Quixote is a bit different. Instead of showing readers that they may improve their moral characters in time, like Captain Roque, he shows them how miserable the life of a criminal is. This is designed to purposefully erase a predisposition for the appetite for crime in the minds of his readers. In the story, we see just how wretched Gines de Pasamonte's lifestyle is, since the reward for his criminality is that he is sent to the galleys twice, where he is chained, whipped, and beaten. When he does escape a third galley sentence thanks to Don Quixote, he is under enormous pressure to shun the Holy Brotherhood. To avoid capture, Gines de Pasamonte travels all over the badlands of the Sierra Morone, expecting sudden arrest at any moment. When he does reach a roadside inn to con people out of their money, Don Quixote demolishes his puppet show, chases his monkey out of a rooftop window, and runs him out of town for good. It seems that Gines de Pasamonte is destined to live out the rest of his days either wandering about the Black Mountains, eking out a living by bowing and scraping, being sent to the galleys to endure crushing physical labor, or being executed for his crimes. In conclusion, by A, showing readers the process of criminal reform, and B, exposing the unappealing nature of crime, Cervantes seeks to deflate the ideas and values that motivate crime. This, in brief, and very brief, summarizes the meaning and significance of the picaresque conversion narrative in Don Quixote. If you want a more in-depth analysis, you can read my 41-page, 14,000-word essay with the same title as this talk, The Picaresque Conversion Narrative in Don Quixote, Criminal Reform. So visit my website if you like, www.don-quixote-explain.com for more information. Thank you. Bye.